Hi, I'm Donald Osborne, and welcome to the Audrain Automobile Museum here in Newport, Rhode Island, and our new exhibition, Land Yachts, Cruising the Interstate Highways. In this exhibition, we will take a look at the amazingly and totally American land yacht of the 1950s, 60s, and yes, even into the 1970s. These were cars designed for the very specific conditions of American driving, the wide open roads, the long distances, and the power and comfort that American consumers demanded. We'll see how this is obviously seen in some of the luxury cars of the period, but also surprisingly seen in some performance cars as well. Later on in the exhibition, we'll come back with some individual videos about some of the cars in the show to tell you why they qualify as a land yacht. Some of the answers may surprise you, and as in our previous exhibition, What's the Super in Supercars, what constitutes a land yacht in the minds of some might not be in the minds of others. But every one of these cars has an undeniable presence. And what we seek to do here at the Audrain is to bring you the familiar and the new. And we've done that in this exhibition. Let's take a look. When we think of a land yacht, what comes to mind for most people is something like this wonderful 1955 Packard Caribbean. It's vast, it's long, it's wide, a triple-tone paint job just screams 1950s cruisers. But there are very many variations on this theme, which we'll see in the exhibition. Let's take a look at the first one. Of course, we think about land yachts being vast cars that cover a big area, but what if they had a slightly more literal meaning? Now, of course, it's common for cars to be named after glamorous resort locations, and of course Newport is one of those places. And not surprisingly, Chrysler named the dashing two-door hardtop in their Windsor line Newport. And we have one here in the exhibition, of course, because we're here in Newport. But we also have something that takes this concept to the next step. Pippa Garner, a legendary artist from California, devised and created 2 If by Sea, based on a 1968 Buick LeSabre. Now, a Buick LeSabre by itself is a land yacht, but Pippa has taken it to the next level and made it a true yacht. We'll see more about that car later. When we think of a land yacht, most people think of a big 4, 5, 6 passenger car. But in the 1950s and 60s, land yachts took on a new expression. We have 2 examples here, this 1957 Thunderbird and this 1966 Oldsmobile 442. Now, you wouldn't generally think of sports or sporty cars as land yachts, but when you look at this exhibition, you'll find out why these 2 cars qualify handily. One of the most interesting things about these cars, and we'll discover more in depth in some of our future videos, is the fact that the feeling and expression of these cars cover the entire market. The 2 cars I'm with now, the Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz and this DeSoto Fireflight convertible, are great examples of that. If you just take one look at the 2 cars, you might think this car, the black car, is obviously the less expensive of the 2 because it's got very little chrome trim. It's very elemental in form. The car on the other side, however, is incredibly decorated, this Fireflight, yet the DeSoto was in the mid-priced range, and of course the Cadillac is at the very top of the range. The range of expression that designers saw in this period of time was absolutely astonishing, and we're also seeing the transition between the exuberance of the mid-1950s to what would come in the more sobering 60s. To give us some greater context to this exhibition, let's talk now to our executive director, David DeMuzio.
Good evening, Donald.
Good evening. David, this is an amazing show. You and the curatorial staff have outdone yourselves this time.
I think so, but it's a great opportunity for us to highlight cars that are in the collections.
And it's also a show which highlights what the Audrain is all about, the contrasts. Between supercars and this show, you could not have had a wider range. And I think that our visitor guests are going to enjoy this show as much as the last show in a totally different way.
Yes, you know, the 1950s and 60s, we have a lot of great cars. So it was actually difficult to narrow down the selection small enough to fit into this gallery. It was really a challenge to maneuver these cars in the building.
And speaking of maneuvering, obviously, again, the theme of the exhibition, the title is Land Yachts. This is also the perfect Newport summer show. We've got some great convertibles in the show, as we've seen a few of already. And just the spirit of these cars just seems to say Newport summer.
They do, and the one behind me, you can't miss. A pink car, a great Lincoln Premier donated by Steve Sider, one of the Audrain members.
It's a great thing, not only the support we get from our members and our donors, but also the idea that people want to make sure that these cars are seen. If they're not using the car, if they haven't, they're changing their collection direction, they want to know that the cars can come to a place where people will appreciate them, because we get all of our cars out in our exhibitions, out on tours. I drove this car in the Daffodil Parade this year, and it was a lot of fun, got lots of attention. And again, it also, the number of thumbs up that you get when you drive any one of these cars is amazing. You know, it really speaks to the way cars make an emotional connection with people, especially cars like these.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And two-tone paint jobs, white wall tires are always a hit with the public.
And one of the things about this period of cars from the late 1940s to the 1970s are that they're also from an era of carefree driving, the era of the Sunday drive, the destinationless excursion. And that's something that a lot of people either don't know or have forgotten about today. And these cars sort of exemplify that.
They do, and we have lots of ads on the walls, and when you read them, they're fun, they make you laugh, but they also point out some of the design emphasis that was put onto these cars, the idea of streamlining, references to aircraft and missiles and modern technology. There's lots of discussion, almost too much, about developments in suspension for the smoothest ride and smooth power from large engines and just, you know, very plush interiors, and the idea that you could drive this car all day long in great comfort.
Exactly. The cars are designed to operate in a stress-free manner and to deliver their driver and passengers to their destinations completely relaxed and stress-free. Very, very different from what we saw with a supercar or with a typical European sports car. So I think it's something that really will make people think, remember, and perhaps explore a bit more. Thank you very much, and we look forward to welcoming you here in the gallery on Bellevue Avenue to this exhibition, Land Yachts, Cruising the Interstate Highways, which runs from June 4th to September 4th. During the course of the exhibition, we'll also have a very special event. Ed Welburn, retired Senior VP of Design for General Motors, will come and give a talk entitled Longer, Lower, Wider, the very theme of this show. And we invite you to continue to watch our videos here on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you here soon.